Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a project recipe, but before we get started on this newest project recipe, I just wanted to take a minute and do a little infomercial for you. Please be sure you check in the description of this video for a couple of things. First of all, I would love for you to, if you haven't already, to donate, sign up, and get ready for our Longest Day Memories Matter fundraising virtual event. If you can contribute more than the $35 minimum donation, we would love for you to do so. But the biggest part of that about this, if you haven't heard already, is it's a virtual event that begins at sunup on the East Coast and ends at sundown on the West Coast. And periodically throughout the day, you are going to be given access to 15 different advisors' layouts, and you'll be given the PDF instruction materials for creating these videos, or for creating these layouts, and you'll have access to private videos on our YouTube channels. I get to be one of the creators, and I'm so excited to share this with you. So I really hope that you will support this event. It's really important. As we all know, as memory keepers, memory is so important, and the Alzheimer's Association is going to benefit from every cent of your donation. None of us who are contributing to this, our time, our efforts, our talents, our creations, none of us are taking a dime. So every cent of it is going to the Alzheimer's Association. So we really hope that you'll contribute towards this. The event is on the longest day of the year, which is June 21st, so it's coming up, but you still have more than enough time to go ahead and get signed up for it. So find the link. If it isn't a hyperlink, then just copy and paste it into your browser. It'll take you straight to the fundraiser baseline, and you'll get signed up there. And then if you will go ahead and select Nicole So's team, because she's my upline and dear friend, I would love for you to be on her team. I did not sign up to have a separate team because I just don't have time to manage it right now. So if you'll just go ahead and sign up under her team, I would love for you to do that, and she would be honored to have you. So please do that. And let's see, the second thing I wanted to point out to you is if you're interested in participating in another one of my sketch challenges, now is the time to get ready for that. The next one is going to be in August, and it's going to be an every other day challenge. So it's not a layout a day challenge, but it is an every other day. So you'll get 15 sketches for the month of August, which should hopefully get you caught up for the summer, and that way you'll be all ready for fall. And so that will be super fun, and I really hope you'll participate in that too. So check that out. The link to sign up for that is also in the description of this video. So I would love for you to join me for that. And let's get to this new project recipe, Deeper in the Woods. Oh my gosh, Deep in the Woods was one of my favorite paper packs, just because of the textures, and the green elements are just so well done, and you're gonna love this. So I hope you'll really enjoy this project recipe. I did a couple of things that they did not do in their version that Home Office created, so I hope you'll like it. Let's check it out and we'll get started. All right, so this is my workspace for today. This is Deeper in the Woods. This just came out, and I was so excited that I decided to go ahead and do the project recipe for you for today. And I wanted to share these products with you because if you have been with CM for a time, then you are going to think that some of these papers look familiar, and there's a reason for that. We used to have a paper pack a few years back called Deep in the Woods, and so this one is Deeper in the Woods, and I'm so glad that they brought it back. And they actually have brought it back and helped it blossom. So there's even more in this than there was, or than I remember there being in the other. So let's talk about it for a minute. You have your project playbook, which is designed by Debbie Martin. She's a fantastic advisor who does a lot of Pack to Pretty Pages things. And this is a super fun playbook with some really cute layouts in it. You're going to really enjoy this. There are, I think there's 5 layouts. Let me just double check. You use 6 pieces of paper, 6 pieces of the designer paper, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you get 5 layouts, 5 double page layouts, and you use a lot of the embellishments and stickers and things like that. Debbie's really good about using everything that is created to go along with the paper, so you're going to really love this playbook. So get the buy it all bundle and you get the playbook for free. Otherwise, the playbook, these go fast. I really am kind of surprised at how quickly these go. And when they're gone, they're gone. But they do have a digital version you can buy after these sell out. So keep an eye out for it if you're not able to get one, a printed version like this. This collection has 2 paper packs. So you have your designer paper pack and you have what they're calling a textured designer paper pack. There's a reason for that. It is more than just a tone on tone. It is every bit what it says it is. It is a texture designer paper pack of that. So let's go through it. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at the laser cut borders. We're going to look at the mats, the stickers, the embellishments. This is a fantastic collection that even has its own punch. And this punch I want to talk to you a little bit about because it's super cool. You can use the punched pieces on your next layout. So that's a really neat feature. I like being able to use the pieces that I punch out of something on another layout. That's really fun. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the paper first. So let me scoot these things a little bit out of the way so that I'm not disturbing them quite so much. Let's talk about the designer paper for a minute. And we're just going to flip through these real quick. So the designer paper pack, you can see, has a lot of very earthy tones. You've got beige, hot fudge, parakeet shimmer, avocado, and dark green being the cardstock that they feel would be appropriate to match to this. And I would have to agree after flipping through this. I think all of those colors are going to work really, really nicely with this collection. Let's take a look. So you've got this nice tone on tone with the aspens or birch type trees. You've got this nice stripe that would be good in smaller installments. You got another tone on tone here with the pine pieces, branches. You've got acorns. You've got, I don't know what this is, but it's a type of a tree. I know it is. So if you know what it is, maybe you could type it in the comments and let us all know. I don't know what type of tree that is, but I have seen it a lot in CM things, so I have to feel like it's fairly common. You've got this wood grain, on a dark base. You've got some acorns and tone on tone trees. You got a lot of tone on tone in this pack, which is, I think, really nice to see in a designer paper pack. A lot of tone on tone is a nice thing. You've got this tree page. You've got this beautiful plaid, which is so nicely done with all the different shades of green in it. And this gingham, which is super fun also. Then you've also got, these are a repeat of those other ones. So that is the designer paper pack. Then we've got the Deeper in the Woods texture designer paper pack. So let's talk about this one for a minute. A lot of these are repeats. So if you got deep in the woods, this is almost exactly the same. But I love it, and I'm so glad like I said, I'm so glad they brought it back, because I used all of mine and then some. And it's just a lovely way to add texture to your page, especially if you are depicting the out of doors. So you've got some wood with some moss on it, like a tree with moss on it. You've got some chopped wood, ferns, pine cones, some more aspen trees all lined up on the ground. This is the center. I love the rings on this from the inside of a tree. You've got brick with moss growing on it, which is super. I wish I had this for when we did those photos from the Rock of Cashel where Emily twisted her ankle. This would have been perfect for the inside of the chapel there. So that would have been awesome. You've got some more wood. This reminds me of a fence, like a weathered fence, and these leaves are just stunning. So nice. And then here we go again with more bark from a tree and the forest. So just really, really, really nice paper packs in this collection. Okay, let me really quick just gonna separate these two so that I can get them put back away, and I can pull out the papers that we're going to use in the project recipe that we're going to put together. Alright, so we'll just keep these out here just for the time being. Let's look at the embellishments. These are cool, and you have to keep in mind that this embellishment pack is unlike any that we've had for a really long time. Look at these neat frames for adding your photos to. We've got a log with some moss growing on it, lost in nature, found in peace. This is textured, so it's got it's embossed with some kind of fuzziness, and so are these leaves right here. So that's kind of cool also. I am home in the woods, wilderness. There's another frame, some wood, more leaves. This says Wild Beauty, that's also embossed. This frame is also embossed, those leaves. More wood plank and a wood round. Some more moss. Alright, then you've got this frame with the embossed leaves on it, and this says Serenity, and this Serenity is embossed also. So I love all the texture with this. Really, really fun way to add something to your layout that you might not expect otherwise. So really cool. Alright, so those are the embellishments. Let's set those over there. Let's look at these laser borders. These are cool too. And unlike some collections where you have to buy 2 sets of borders in order to get enough borders to do a 2-page layout, that's not how these are, guys. I'm so excited because I'm a two-page layout person. You guys know that if you watch my channel. I rarely do a single page unless it's a title page or an end page in an album. And so having to buy 2 sets of borders in order to do 2 pages with the same border is just painful and kind of unnecessarily painful. But see, we've got sticks, we've got these which have texture added and they match. They're not exactly the same. Wood is not exactly the same, right? But they are close. This has texture added also, and those two go together. Kind of the forest floor looking thing. This is like a canopy of leaves from the trees above, right? And these are the forest below. So really, really nice that you only need one package of these borders in order to do your 2-page layouts. Now you still might want to buy 2 of them, 2 packages of them, so that you can do more layouts with your 2 packs of paper. So consider that for a minute. If you enjoy using your paper to the most that you can get from it, then you might want to still have 2 packs of that. Okay, then we've got our stickers. These are so nice, and they give you lots of plants that you can add, trees and things like that, to your layout. Rocks. You've got Lost in the Beauty of the Woods, You'll Find Me in the Forest, Leaves and Laughter, Sunbeams, Every Path Leads to New Discoveries, quotes from John Muir, Peaceful, Wild. You've got 12-inch stickers that are rocky. You've got two rocks, so you can do a 2-page layout with that. You've got 2 logs down here, so you can do a 2-page layout with that. You only have 1 row of trees, so consider that if you like to use your stickers. You might need 2 sets of stickers in order to make that work. But those are your stickers that come along with this. And the mat pack, I actually have not pulled the mat pack out yet, so let's check out the mat pack. Remember, we are now doing 4.5 by 6.5 mats only, and there's 12 of them in a pack. So you get a variety. You get these that you can cut apart, or you can use as a base and put a photo over the top. Some of these have fun sayings on the back. The forest is a place of quiet wonder. Some of these are cool journaling cards. You can add your quick notes about a trip right on top there, and it's really, really nice. Into the Woods. I feel like I should turn this over because I'm maybe flip it this way. There we go. Life is better in the great outdoors. There's some wood. Wilderness calls. Nature's beauty is a reminder that life is simple if we just slow down. Got more trees. These are good if you don't have enough photos for your page, or if you want a little bit extra something special. We've got, I guess that would go that way, trees. And this would be kind of a little gathering at the top of that. And then you've got Soulful Escape and Adventure Awaits in the Woods. And I love the true life photography on that. Really, really cool. Okay, so there's your mat pack for Deeper in the Woods. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the project recipe. All right, here we go. This is the project recipe, and you can see we're going to be using the new punch, so that's exciting. And you can see that they've got paper underneath the punched areas. That is planned into your project recipe. And so they have you cutting pieces that will go underneath those punched areas. So we do need 2 sheets of beige cardstock to go underneath this. And actually, rather than using beige cardstock, I'm going to use these natural pages that I have. I had a pack of pages come to me years ago that was missing one of the hinges. It only had one hinge and the other hinge was missing on all of the pages in the set. And Home Office was so sweet. They said just keep them because we can't do anything with them. They are defective essentially. So I thought, well, I'll keep them, and then it took me a long time to decide what to do, but I decided to just cut the jeeping off and use the page essentially as paper because it's buffered and it's really nice paper. So we're going to use these as our cardstock bases. I'm going to use the dark wood grain, I'm going to use the tree page, and the green tone-on-tone tree page. And those are going to be our 3 papers. So I'm going to just set these base sheets out of the way. We'll get to them eventually. Let's go ahead and cut these papers so that we can get this going. All right, so first of all, we are going to use the green paper. The green paper is going to be, oh no, you know what? I'm sorry. Let me just take a second. Yeah, okay. So let me grab my 12-inch trimmer. We are going to start with the wood grain, and we're going to start with designer paper number 3. We're going to cut the wood grain paper 7 inches. We're going to cut it at 7 inches. And we're going to decide, because you have the grains of the wood either going horizontal or you have them going vertical. Do we want them horizontal or do we want them vertical? I think because it's wood, I want them going vertical, even though it's not going to take the whole page. So because I want them going vertical, I'm going to want to cut this with the top to the left. Okay, because the 7 by 7 square won't matter any way we go. It'll be fine because it's the same on all sides. But the 7 by 5, that will matter, and we need that to have the lines going vertically this way, like that. So we're going to line this up with the top on the left-hand side. We're going to come over here to the 7-inch mark. Okay, and we're going to cut all the way across at 7 inches. This piece now is extra. It's going to go over there. We're going to then turn this so it's horizontal, and we're going to cut another piece at 5 inches. When we cut this at 5 inches, then the remaining piece is a square, 7 by 7. So those 2 pieces are our first 2 pieces of this layout. Okay. Now I'm going to put my arm back and grab my green tree tone-on-tone paper. This has the acorns on the back. This one is going to be represented by the peach, and it's designer paper number 2 on my diagram. And I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 1.5 inches, and I'm going to cut mine measuring it on the right-hand side of my trimmer, right-hand side of my cutting line. Okay, because I can measure up to 1 3/4 on this side, and so we're going to do our 1.5. So we've got 1.5. We're going to do another 1.5. All right, then we need, let's see, we're going to turn this and we're going to cut it at 4.5. So from the top, now the top is over here, we're going to cut that all the way across at 4.5 inches. So line it up on the 4.5 inch line. I'm going to cut that across, move this out, leave it there. We're going to turn this back so it's horizontal again, and we're going to cut it again at 4.5 inches. You have to cut it in that order so that you don't cut through this other piece. Okay, so we've got our 2 4.5 inch squares. Those are going to go over there. Then we're going to take this piece again, and we are going to cut 2 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to cut 4 1/2-inch pieces. So we're going to use this very first grid line. That's the 1/2-inch mark. So we're going to cut 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now, we're going to wait on that again for just a second. We are going to take 2 of these and we are going to measure those at 7 inches. So let me get my arm back out again. There's my arm. I'm going to stack 2 of these and measure them at 7 inches. So we're going to put that end right there at the 7-inch mark. Tuck the rest of it underneath there and line it right up on the shoulder. Okay, so there's 7 inches. This is extra. You can save it or toss it. If you won't use a tiny piece like that, then just go ahead and toss it. I give you permission. All right, now you're going to take the other 2 1/2-inch pieces, stack them together, and line those up at 5 inches. So right here is our 5-inch mark. Okay. And I would save these. That's long enough that you might use that somewhere else. All right, but here are your 5 by 1/2 pieces. And then we need a 3 1/2-inch square out of the rest of this. So you can either cut 3 1/2 inches this way, and then you'll have a strip and another chunk that is extra that you can hold on to, or you can cut 3 1/2 inches down this way and have a bigger piece that is extra and a smaller piece over here. That's what I'm going to do because I feel like I will be more inclined to use that bigger square. So I'm going to cut it at 3 1/2 inches going this way. This is extra, so it's going to live to scrap another day. And then this one is turned and cut again at 3 1/2 to make the square. Okay, and then this piece is just extra. Okay, so that's going to go over there. And these 2 pieces are good to go. So they're going to go over here too. Okay, so now we just have our trees. And our trees are going to be represented by the blue square right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now this is, you'll notice on the instructions it says cut then punch, and then there's a specific edge they want us to cut. All right, so let's take a look at the project recipe and we'll see where these blue pieces are going to go. So they are right here and they're vertical. All right, C and D, you'll notice C and D say reverse. Okay, so that means that these 2 are flipped over, and you can see that in the sample up here. They are flipped over. So you've got piece A, piece B, piece C, and piece D, and they all need to be vertical if you have a directional paper. If you don't have a directional paper, then it's not as critical how you do this. But I have directional paper, so I want to make sure that I'm cutting these so that I'm getting the right pattern. My trees are not sideways, right? Because we don't want sideways trees. Okay, so first, what?
What if they fell?
What if they fell? Well, these trees are clearly not fallen. That's Emily. She's my college student. She's one of my college students. She's smart.
Or at least trying to be.
Okay, so we are going to measure the first one at 5 1/2 inches. which is the very edge of my trimmer right here. I don't even have to worry about looking for a number. The edge of the trimmer is 5.5 inches. So we cut there, and that is piece A. Then we are going to cut one at 3.5 inches. So we're going to come over here and cut 3.5. Okay, that's done. And then the remaining 3 inches we cut in half at 1.5 inches. So you have 1.5 inches on either side of your cutting line. Okay. And then these are going to be flipped over to the back side for those cute leaves and acorns. Okay, so that's everything that we need to cut. We're going to punch though, so we are not done quite yet. All right, so this punch is super cool. Notice the pattern on the side that helps us, that teaches us that we have trees that are going to be cut out of our paper. Now, we are supposed to take the big piece, the 5.5 by 12, that's this one, and we're supposed to cut it, and then we're supposed to punch the left edge, so this edge right here, and we want our trees to be right side up, so we want the tops to be at this end of our paper. So in order to do that, we're going to need to flip this over and put it into our punch like this. So let's do that again. Okay, so my directional paper, this is the top. The top needs to go on this side, but I need to cut it down this edge, so that means I need to flip it over and then cut down this side. Okay, so I'm going to put it in my punch, line it up with the edge at the starting mark in the front. This edge is all the way to the back on the shoulder, and we're going to feed it through until it matches the pattern, like that. And we're going to keep punching down till we get the whole piece punched. It's 5 punches to do the whole thing. And then when we flip that back over, here are our trees, okay, going right up the side. And we've got these trees that we can now use on Christmas cards or, you know, in a layout as an embellishment. So that's kind of cool. Definitely not something that I would want to toss out. I would want to save those. All right, so then the second piece, piece B, says cut then punch the right edge. So we need this edge, and since it's the right edge, we can just feed our paper right in and line it up here on the left and punch and slide. All right, so there is our right hand side. Okay, and we've got a few more trees to add to our collection up there. All right, let's grab our base sheets and get this assembled. I'm excited to see how it turns out. Okay, so we're gonna do the left hand side first. So I'm gonna flip back to my top piece where I can see the sample that they made and the sketch. I'm going to grab my permanent adhesive and my repositionable adhesive because we will likely need that as well. The first piece that I'm going to put down is piece C, which is one of these strips right here. So we're going to add that. And this is going to go down the right-hand side of my page, right against the edge, just like that, okay? Now, I need my wider piece, this wider piece right here, and I need one of my green strips. We're going to adhere the green strip to the bottom side of this. And what I'm going to suggest that you do is flip this over, grab your repositionable adhesive. We're going to add this to the edges where we see paper so that we have that kind of put down. We're going to add a little more to the inside edge of those trees. Okay, then we're going to take our green paper. Make sure if you're using a paper that's directional that your top of your directional paper matches the top of your trees. Okay, you're going to flip that over and then lay it down so that your corners match. And your corners and your edges need to match. Okay, so just lay it down right on top so that all your corners and your edges look super nice. Then you're going to come back in with your permanent adhesive, or if you are more comfortable with repositionable, you can just use repositionable, that's fine. Okay, you're just going to add that in. I probably got a little too much. I was excited. Okay, we're going to flip it over and add this in right even, flush up against this strip that we already placed. Okay, so that's going to go right up against the edge and all the way down. Okay, so there are our trees. Now we're going to grab the smaller piece of the wood paper, and that's going to go right there. And this is just going to be centered, so we could put our, I'm going to put this down on an even number on my mat so that I can see where the middle is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right there is the middle, and it's 7 inches high, so I'm going to be 3.5 inches from either side of that center point. Okay, and there's that. All right, now what we need are the 2 short strips, the 2 short green strips. Okay, we're going to flip those over, grab my repositionable adhesive. I'm going to add adhesive to both of those strips at the same time, and then I'm going to come in here and lay these down on the top and the bottom, trying not to leave any gaps at all. Okay, so just like that. Then we've got our 2 mats that need to go on here. So I'm going to, like I normally do, just go ahead and add some repositionable adhesive to those so that I can lift them up if I need to. when I have my pictures, because right now I don't have the pictures that are going to go on this layout. So I'm going to place these in an effort to not lose them. I'm going to find the center of my page, and then I'm going to place them so that there's about 1/4 of an inch in between. So the center of my page is right there at that mark for 20 inches right here. And you can see I've tried to place them so that there's 1/4 of an inch right through the middle right there. Okay, so there are those two mats. Okay, so let's do the right hand side of the layout and then we'll come back to this. So we're going to set this aside and grab our other piece, the piece for the other side, and we're going to do these in the same order. So we're going to put that center strip down. Flush with the bottom and the middle edge. All right, I got a little crazy with my adhesive and it is sticking off the side, so give me just a second. We gotta kind of fold those in, otherwise we'll have stuff sticking to things we don't want it to stick to. Okay, so there's that piece. Then we need to adhere the piece below our trees. So let's grab our repositionable adhesive again. I'm going to put that right in the corner. And then between each set of trees and down here in the corner. And then same thing going down the outer edge of those trees. Then we're going to take our green strip, flip it over, making sure, because this green strip, if you look really close, has trees on it, so you want to make sure your trees are going the right direction. They're hard to see through the punch. Admittedly, it's not that critical of a thing, but it could be depending on your paper, so just keep that in mind. Okay. Then we're going to come back in here with our permanent adhesive. You can tell when I'm excited and when I'm not necessarily excited and in a rush, because I have a lot more control over how much adhesive I'm using. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so we're going to add this in flush to that strip we just put down. Okay, there's that piece, really nice. Then we're going to come in here with our wood. Okay, and this is going to need to be centered again. So let's find our center, line it up on the mat. Okay, then 7 inches means 3.5 on either side of center. Just like that. Nice. I love it when it falls right into place. Just makes me feel so good. Okay, so that's going to go there. This piece right here, we need to cut into a triangle, into 2 triangles. So you can see that it's used as a half frame, sort of. So we're going to cut from the upper left corner to the lower left corner to make 2 triangles that we can use to semi-mat the photo that's going to go in this area. All right, so there's our square that we cut in half. And before we do that, we're going to put these 2 strips down. So let me grab those 2 strips. And I'm going to turn this just because I find it easier to work that way. There's our adhesive. We're going to take this piece, just like on the other side of our layout, we're going to fit that in right above. And this one's going to go in right below. Sometimes it's really hard when you cut a 1/2 inch piece to see the directionality of it. You just do the best you can. If you can't tell, then whoever's going to look at your page probably can't tell either. So there's that. Then we're going to come in here with these two. And again, I'm just going to put a little bit of repositionable right in the middle. And we'll go ahead and put this down. Now, if you're not sure where it needs to go, having a placeholder can be really helpful in this particular instance. So let me get one of our photo placement mats. And we'll do a full 6x4 because why not, right? Okay, so here's my photo placement mat. If you don't have one of these, just find a scrap piece of paper and cut it to be a 4x6 size. Okay, and then what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to set that in there, determine where that photo, when you have a picture, is going to go so that you can center it, make it look super nice, right? And then you're just going to slide this guy right in there. And adhere him down when you get him into the right place. Okay, so just like that. Then you're going to take this one, slide him in there. Make sure that the distance is the same for this one as this one, so that those mat, the distance here is the same. Okay. So there, those are now in place and ready for a photo, which is lovely. Okay. Now we can add some embellishments. So let's pull our other page down and we'll take a look at the two together. All right, so here, these two go together. We could use some of our trees that we punched up there, or we could use some of our other pieces. They've got 3 3x3 square photos that are going here. And if you're like me, you might want to put a placeholder there, just a scratch piece of paper, so that you know that that's what's meant to go there. You could do a 3x5 and a 3x3. You could do a 3x3 up here and a 3x5 down here. You could even do 2 3x5 photos there if you wanted to. All right, and then these are meant to be 4x4 square photos, and this one is meant to be a 4x6. So you've got your 6x4 on this side, your 4x6 over here, 2 4x4s, 3 3x3s, or the other variations that we just talked about that could go in there. So this layout could hold quite a few photos, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pictures. Could even hold more if you put a photo up here or down here. You know, you could really add a lot to this, or even use a peekaboo pocket. Okay, so lots of possibilities there. Let's take a look at our embellishments and see if there's anything there that we want to use. So we've got these frames, we've got some words we could use, and we've got our stickers that we can use. Okay, hang on a second here. There, we'll just stick that over there. Okay. I don't think I want another frame, although if I wanted to, I could use, this is an idea, could use a frame and frame the title for the page. So they have a sticker over here that kind of acts like the title for the page. But you could take, maybe not this frame, since we have the dark wood there, but you could take this frame and you could place it right up here and use that to hold your title. So you could take your Lost in Nature, Found in Peace and kind of put that right inside that frame. That's kind of a cool thing. You could even add, we could even add some more greenery going up the side, maybe. Or we could use Serenity, Wild Beauty, Wilderness, or I Am Home in the Woods. Any of those would be lovely for this page. And this has built-in greenery, so you don't have to do as much extra embellishing because it's already a part of that frame, which is kind of cool. I really like rounds like this. I think those are really neat to use. So maybe what we'll do is use one long board and one round, and we'll see what else we can add to it. So they've got an embellishment down here in this area. They've got another small one right up here. They've got the title going over here and more embellishing over in this area. And I just dropped my moss. All right, here we go. So I've for a long time subscribed to the less is more where embellishments were concerned. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different places where they have embellished on here. Now if you're doing just one side of this layout as a single page, then yes, go ahead, put 3 on there. But when you're doing a 2-page layout, I really don't think you need 6 different spots with embellishing. I mean, it's not hurting anything, but I feel like it's a little bit more than you probably need. So it just depends on what you want. And I know you're not going to believe this because I do tend to put a lot of photos on my pages. And I know you've told me before, how come you do that? All that work on the page and then you cover it all up with pictures. Well, that's because I'm trying to get a lot of pictures into the albums that I'm doing right now. So I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's working for me right now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this log down here. I'm going to go with my title up here, but I'm going to scooch it in a little bit more so that I can add my 3x3 picture right in there. All right, and that also kind of gives me a little bit more of a centered effect. It's actually kind of right in the middle of my page if I do it like that. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I suppose it does. It's still kind of right in the middle of my page if I put it over there. I don't know. I'm going to let it sit there. Let me think about it for a minute. Okay, and then this one, I think we'll put kind of down in this area. And we'll add a few other things to these. So What if we add the rocks and an evergreen sprig? Hold on a second. I need to make an adjustment. There, that'd be better. Because my rocks need to be kind of where the wood hits the bottom. So kind of like that. And let's take some leaves and an acorn or two. For over here. So sort of like that. And we'll add an acorn in here and a smaller acorn in just to the other side of it. And we'll add that in kind of down here. And we'll have our moss kind of up here. Oh dear, somehow I got a hair stuck underneath that sticker. Doesn't happen very often. All right, let me put a little bit of, we could pop some of this up too with some foam squares, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put it down kind of like that. Okay, we're gonna add that in about right there. This one. So we're going to add in with equal distance from all the mats. Just like that. And then this up here also. We're going to put that about 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. And I didn't get my adhesive on the edge enough, so that's not helpful. I was trying not to get it on my page, and in the process I couldn't stick it down. Alright, so we're going to make that about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom of the frame, about like that. And then I am going to use a couple of my trees, and let's go ahead and add these guys in just for fun. So I think I'm going to pop that off just a little bit, and we're going to add that guy in, which will give my wood a little bit more to hold on to right there by adding a tree. Let's get another one. Let's get one of the ones with a stem, a trunk. And we're going to just offset him just a little bit so that our lost in nature is good to go there. And we'll add our leaves across the bottom. Lost in nature, found in peace. Okay. That's not bad. I like it for a title. And I'm going to actually move it over because I think it looks nicer over here. Harder to see those trees. They really blend into my page. If I had used the gray, then they probably would show up a bit better, but that's okay. I think it'll be all right. We could actually add some of our trees in over here. In fact, we could go in and pop those trees back into place just like that if we wanted. Maybe here or there, maybe not everywhere. Oh, that's not the right one. Remember how we had to turn some of them? Let's try one from the bottom of the pile and see if it works better. If it fits better. Yeah, there we go. That fits better. So we will have photos over here, but maybe every other one would be a fun way to kind of draw a little more attention to these trees, which are harder to see because of the papers that I chose. But it's still cool. It's like playing with a puzzle. So like that. I like that. So I think we'll do that over here as well. We'll just do kind of an every other one all the way up. What do you think? I like that. I think it pulls this color a little more into the layout by doing that. All right, that's gonna do it for me today. I hope that this has been fun for you. I hope this is a layout that you will use. I think you could use this layout with other collections, and you could use just a different border punch here, as long as you make sure it's not a chain style border punch, as long as it's an edge style border punch or a knockout border punch like this one, then you could certainly use that with this layout, and I think it would look just really cute. So let me know what you think. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.